We're good?
You do look at You can't help it, can you?
All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Monday, June 26, 2017 meeting of the Delaware County Board of Commissioners. If everyone would please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to thank you. I'm Jeff Benton, President of the Board. To my left is our Vice President, Gary Merrill. To my right is fellow Commissioner Barb Lewis. Our County Administrator, Farzana Ahmed. Jennifer Walraven is going to lead us today. You can start.
Resolution number 17-667, in the matter of approving the electronic record of proceedings from regular meeting held June 22nd, 2017.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Vote.
Vote on motion 17667. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We do not have any public comment or elected official comment today, so that brings us to item number 4, resolution number 17-668, in the matter of approving purchase orders and now certificates and payments of warrants in batch number CM APR 0623.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Vote.
Vote on motion 17-668. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-669, in the matter of approving travel expense requests.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Vote.
Vote on motion 17-669. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-670, in the matter of approving right-of-way work permit summary sheet.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Vote.
Vote on motion 17-670. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-671, in the matter of approving a deed of easement for sanitary sewer purposes to the Delaware County Finance Authority Board of Directors.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Hi, my name is Kelly Theo. I'm here with the Regional Sewer District, and our office has reviewed the deed and is recommending it for approval at this time.
Okay, I think it's
This
great.
This is for an individual lateral on Martinez property, one single-family residence, and since it's across property that the county already owns, this is the mechanism to grant him an easement for a lateral.
Yeah, and using the finance authority makes the process quicker and smoother.
Yes.
Good to be able to put that organization to help us. All right, vote.
Vote on motion 17-671. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-672, in the matter of approving the sanitary sewer subdividers agreement for the Glade at Highland Lake Section 2.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
This resolution is pretty standard, was reviewed by the county prosecutor, and is recommended, our staff recommends approval at this time.
Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 17-672. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye. Thank you. That's it for the...
That is. We do have an item for other business. I was not sure if our administrator wants to discuss that first, or I can just go ahead and read the resolution. Resolution number 17-673, in the matter of approving a transfer of appropriations for the Code Compliance Department.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Morning, Commissioners. This is pertaining a contract that was approved for the Code Compliance Department back in April, and the contract was for $25,000 to hire a consulting firm to assist with inspections. So basically, if we had vacancies or if our inspectors were off sick or not able to keep up with the workload, then we would give this work to the consulting firm and they'd do the inspections for us. So the inspections are done in several different areas. There is a mechanical and plumbing inspection. There's the standard building inspection, which is structural. Then there's the electrical inspection. So the electrical inspection is, of course, everything electrical, be it commercial or residential. So to give you an example, in the first 4 months of this year, first 5 months, we have averaged 500 electrical inspections a month. And we have, when we look at our table of organization, there are 4 positions There's a lead electrical inspector, and then there are 3 electrical inspectors under the lead electrical inspector, and those 4 manage all of our inspections. Right now, we have 2 vacancies that we have not been able to fill. One of our electrical inspectors has been off for quite a while due to an illness, and our only remaining inspector on the job is on reduced duty because, unfortunately, he got hurt on one of the inspections not too long ago. So in the month of May, of the 500-plus inspections that we did, more than 400 were done by our consulting firm. So I give you all of this background just to show that the $25,000 that we had allocated has been expended. So we have to think of a long-term solution, whether we look at our personnel issues, whether we look at our table of organization. And these are things that Don Houston and I and Director Fred Fowler will be discussing to come up with a long-term solution. But in the meantime, we need to do these inspections. So I'm going to ask you for appropriations for $75,000. The reason we're doing that is because you as the board have the authority to go up to $100,000 for a contract if you declare an emergency. Since our $25,000 has already been expended, so I'm asking you to consider this contract as an emergency and appropriate another $75,000, and that gives us those 2 to 3 months to figure out how to handle all of these issues in that department with our personnel. On a side note, unfortunately, we are seeing effects of lack of electrical inspectors in the industry. Our code compliance department has always maintained a very high standard of getting inspections done on time. That is not the case in the month of May. And we don't want that to continue because the development in the county is on an uptick. So we're going to ask you to please approve the appropriation of $75,000 so that Assistant Administrator Keeley can work with the auditor and get the certificate going. And then in the next session on Thursday, we will bring you the emergency contract. So, any questions? I'll be happy to answer.
That's a good explanation. 2 comments. First of all, Si had his hand on the mic, so I know he wanted to speak. Now he's pushed it away, so he's changed his mind. So. Okay. It's such an opportunity we couldn't let it pass.
That's not like
If there was a chance, wasn't it? Number 2, prior to the 2 of you being on board, I believe certainly Jeff, Commissioner Benton, and I believe Commissioner Lewis, when we raised the fees for the inspections, it was done with the full support of the BIA, which is very unusual to get someone who's paying the fees to be supported. And one of the things they were hopeful for is that we would make sure we were competitive with the people doing this business. And unfortunately, because of the market situation we find ourselves in, and I won't use the word stealing, I won't use that word, but we find ourselves competing with Delaware City and Columbus. And so we do need to get these rates for this group and this group only because of market conditions in line. And so I think the sooner we identify what that should be and what that looks like, the better. But again, I didn't know if you two had the background, but the BIA was extremely supportive of the increases that we put in place. I'm going to say 2 years ago. You lose track of time. It could be a little more than that or a little less, but something like that. So just FYI. So that's my knowledge of the situation.
Anything, Dawn, did you want to say anything?
I don't think to add now. We'll be bringing you the information for the market study and talk to you about that as it affects
Okay, sure.
not only our current staff, but also those that are trying to recruit.
Right, the new potential hires
Sure.
then. Okay. Yeah, we've got to solve it.
Yeah, exactly. And we want to provide timely service.
Right, right.
Very important. So, all right, vote.
Vote on motion 17-673. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Administrator, do you have any other reports?
Sure, I can report out on the meeting that we had with COTA on Thursday. Myself, Danny Schooley from Data, and the Worthington city manager met with COTA, and we asked COTA about, they do these studies, they call them next gen. What is the next generation of public transit based on demand. And the number one corridor that everyone has identified in Central Ohio is 23. Surprise, surprise.
COTA agree with that?
Yes. It came from COTA.
Oh, okay.
Great.
So CEO Curtis Stitt asked us, so what do you guys think is number one? And I said, well, we want it to be 23. They said, well, it is number one. That is the number one corridor.
Oh, great.
So now what does that mean? Does that mean coming from Columbus to Worthington, or coming from Columbus to Lewis Center, or coming from Columbus all the way to Delaware? So what we asked basically is for COTA to look at that corridor and officially put it as part of their next gen study. And we'll see where it goes. And the conversation talked about not looking in terms of bus service, but looking in terms of how do I quickly get from Delaware to Columbus. Does that mean there should be some sort of signal preemption and small buses? Does that mean there should be one big bus? Does that mean we should talk about directional lanes? I don't know. But there's all kind of different things that come out from this if the goal is to reduce that time. So, good conversation, just a first step. And Curtis Stitt is going to look at the parameters. He's retiring soon, and he says this is going to be his last project. So what he wanted to do was put together some parameters for then Delaware County and City of Worthington to maybe bring in City of Columbus and the City of Delaware and maybe Ohio State into that conversation, and then, see how we proceed with the study.
Did you also talk about the 71 corridor all the way up to the outlet mall?
That was a conversation that Curtis Stitt and I had last year. COTA actually has the BRT, they call it Bus Rapid Transit, all the way up to Polaris. And as part of that service, they reached out to the big businesses in the Polaris areas, the Microsofts and the Excels, and no one was aware. Now they were all, and IKEA, they were all complaining that there's no service between Columbus and Delaware, and when they said there is, nobody was aware of it. So I guess there's a marketing effort that's lacking. So there has been a conversation about, what needs to be done? I mean, there has to be some sort of a demand. I don't believe that COTA or DATA has had any conversation with the outlet mall or some of the other businesses in 36 to see if there is a demand. I think that if there is a demand, that would probably be manifest in the busy season during Christmas, when they have extra employees on an intermittent basis. So that has been brought up, but nothing concrete has ever been discussed between COTA and DATA when it comes to that.
Did the topic of a golf course shuttle come up?
We will bring that up next time.
Okay. It's just for Delaware County golfers, of course. All right. All right, Commissioner Merrill?
There's really two areas.
Anything else? I'm sorry.
I'm good, thank you.
There's really two areas on the passing. One, shoppers who might come from the Franklin County area, but they've got to have ability to come in a timely fashion, be able to return in a timely fashion, and of course the job opportunities, especially as one of you said, the seasonal part of it. Because I've never heard anything from the mall, but as someone from a distance, it would just seem there would be opportunities there for people in Franklin County, maybe for seasonal jobs, at least, if not year-round jobs.
That's true. The seasonal jobs would be the issue. I think they probably hire hundreds more people during the Christmas season.
What about DATA's route from Delaware City to the outlet mall? Do they go back and forth at all?
I don't think they have one. Do you guys know if they have one? I don't think they have one.
They did, but I've not heard any more about it since the mall opened.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that route is still.
Right. I mean, either for shopping, people who want to shop or work at the outlet mall. And certainly that would be a more long-term employment opportunity for people in Delaware City and around. So, okay, we'll check. That'd be good. What about the study? Do they know when the study might be?
I think this is, you mean for the 23 corridor?
Right, for the 23.
At this point,
Just-
it hasn't started.
Okay,
We wanted to get the conversation going to see
Sure.
if they are interested. And
Okay.
it turns out that from their surveys and demand studies. They are
That's a
interested.
good, boy, good news. Oh, good meeting for Zahn. Thank you. That's good, that's good.
All right. Commissioner Merrill?
I only have one thing, and I guess it's going to be wrapped up, so I think the last time I get to talk about the MCO.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
There was a letter to the editor prepared last week by 5 counties that could only be over one signature, and Tom Whiston, in the role he plays in the committee, was that name. But I don't know if it made the paper or not. It wasn't in Saturday's paper. I don't know whether it was in Sunday's paper or not. But 5 counties were mentioned as examples of the impact it has: Union County, Fairfield, Morrow, Delaware County, and Franklin County. So I hope it made the paper yesterday. And this is a very important week, and I know that I got an email from George Kaitza. I know he's also reached out to express his concerns in his role as auditor. And so that's kind of where we are, and hopefully they're listening.
Right, we've all contacted our reps and
Oh, yeah,
senators.
multiple times.
I think you know what's the timetable now? I think
Well,
they're-
the conference committee's this afternoon. If they reach conclusion, that'll be it. If not, they'll do it Tuesday. If not, then they'll do it Wednesday.
Okay,
Because the governor has to have at least a couple days to
right,
review the budget.
right, it's got to be done by the 30th.
Yeah, I think the hard deadline is Wednesday. We'll see how the conference
Okay.
committee progresses today, but
Okay.
again, I'm hearing mixed signals. There could be a lot of pain in a lot of counties if they don't come up with this.
I am too, that the news may not be good.
That's all I have.
Okay. Mr. Lewis?
That's it.
All right. No golf talk today?
No golf talk.
We'll
Yeah.
move on then.
Do my homework next time.
Let's see, we had the Veterans Docket kind of introduction meeting.
Oh, yes, I'm glad you
On
mentioned.
Thursday, it was. Judge Hemmeter is leading that, and she's very engaged. The Veterans Dockets seem to be doing well in, I think there's about 15 counties in the state that have started them already, and it's a mix between common pleas and municipal courts. I think there were more in common pleas, but it's still a significant number in municipal courts. So very well attended, a lot of interested parties were there, and I think it really, looks good for the future of that docket in municipal court. And again, thanks to Judge Hemmeter for leading the charge on that. Let's see, Finance Authority Board meeting is tomorrow. No. Never mind. Investment Committee, John Treasurer Peterson put out the monthly Investment Committee report, and the yield is up to 128 on our portfolio, 1.28%, and that's up from 1.19 at March 31st, and it continues to rise, which bodes well for our investment portfolio. Yeah, by historical standards, 1% isn't huge, but
Right, but it's...
where it was a
Yes,
couple years ago,
that's true.
it's way better. So that's all. I also want to welcome Linda Dodds, our new front desk administrator. I'm not sure what the title is these days, but administrative assistant. Okay, well, welcome, and I'm sure you'll have contribute, and we look forward to working with you. And
Yes.
and that's it. So we do have need for executive session.
Do. Resolution number 17-674, in the matter of adjourning into executive session for consideration of appointment of a public employee or public official.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-674. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Batten?
Aye. All right, we're in executive session.